Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is yours truly, your host, Mr. Greenhart, aka RG, and I'm here to give y'all another great take of the Ant Green Show. Yes, we are back. We've had a quite the summer, or I guess the start of the summer season. Lots of things are going on, of course. Sports is coming to an end. There's been some finals that have been finished up. Also, Paris Olympics coming around is going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But not only that, going into the music scene, we're going to have a lot of carnival seasons in Canada this year. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how those play out because that's a really good part of the summertime is people getting together for carnival season, enjoying nice music, enjoying really good food. And here at the Ant Green Show, as we said, we want to be able to incorporate all of these other elements. Huge diehard sports over here for sure. We're always going to be giving you the best coverage on that. So in today's episode, we're going to make sure we talk about how the finals went for the NBA and the NHL playoffs. But not only that, we're going to talk a little bit about the Paris Olympics coming up, see how that's going to play out for Team Canada. I like how their roster is constructed. However, there are some other teams that do have players that have committed that make them worthy opponents. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on carnival season coming up in Canada, going also in Montreal and in Toronto, and kind of what to expect and some of the things to look forward to. But of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like the video. We appreciate all the support. We're here to give you guys the greatest takes when it comes to sports, music, and food. Let's jump right into it. Um, let's go into the NBA Finals to get things started. Well, I think we all expected the Boston Celtics would do well. I think we knew that they would also have a good chance of winning the championship if everybody was healthy. They also proved to everybody. Well, let me say this first and foremost. Shout out to the Boston Celtics for winning the 2024 NBA championship. Their team was constructed to win a championship. Drew Holiday was one of the most important pieces they had. Although Jaylen Brown finished with the Finals MVP, Drew Holiday was really the most important piece to that team offensively and defensively for when you needed him to play make, when you needed him to come up with a big shot, and then when you needed him to shut down the opposing best player. Shout out to Jason Tatum. Had a good finals, probably not as good as he would have liked, but showed up in the games that mattered. And then, of course, nonetheless, Jaylen Brown, your finals MVP. Kristaps Porzingis, he was injured, and at the same time, did they really need him? They proved that they could win a game without him. I think Dallas, shout out to Dallas. That was a team that I had predicted that would have went far, an underdog team. I didn't think that they had enough. Kyrie and Luca defensively, I didn't like how they matched up against Boston. Shout outs to them for at least, making it competitive and, winning a game. But I think at the end of the day, Boston just had all the pieces they needed to get the job done. We'll see if they're able to repeat. I think the NBA every year looks different, but it was a good finals. I think Dallas was out of it a little bit early, and they couldn't figure out enough to slow Boston down. So shout out to the Boston Celtics. Flipping over to the hockey scene, NHL. Again, shout out to the Florida Panthers. That was a little bit of a gut punch for all the Albertans, all the West Coast folk, and all of Canadians, I should say, as the Edmonton Oilers represented Canada to their best abilities, taking it to game 7. And, Florida, again, team with depth, a team with great goaltending, well coached, and they were in the finals for a reason. Florida, for the hockey scene for the last few years, has been where it's at, whether it be Tampa Bay, whether it be Florida. And, Florida was there last year against Vegas. They showed up again this year. Edmonton was, as close as possible to pulling off history. As a matter of fact, they still did coming back from down 3. But in that game 7, the game finishing 2-1 for Florida, you know, it's something that everybody wants as like for me as a Canadian, it would have been nice to see that for the Stanley Cup to be, on Canadian soil for a team to finally win after so long. But sometimes things happen the way they do, and you learn from it, and the great players get better from it. So I have no doubt in my mind the Oilers will be back. I have no doubt in my mind that Connor McDavid will win a Stanley Cup while he's in Edmonton. I think next year they have the DNA, they have the core, they have the experience under their belt now. They know what it takes. I don't see a reason why they won't be back. So shout out to the Edmonton Oilers for competing. But again, let's give it up to the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk, Bobrovsky, Barkov. Those guys were dangerous players, but Edmonton gave them a run for the money. That's for sure. And now, really quick, going into the Paris Olympics, I see how some of the teams are playing, but mainly focusing on the basketball scene. I think that Team Canada, I know right now that their roster is essentially set. They're doing some of their exhibitions. Guys like Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, Jamal Murray, and Andrew Wiggins, have committed. So those are really good names to have on your roster when you're competing at an international level. And I like that guys like Nimhard got a shot at the roster. I know there's people are saying, or even himself, Corey Joseph was saying that he was snubbed from the team because he helped build the whole culture behind Team Canada. Shout out to Corey Joseph for what he contributed, but I think you want to choose the best players, for the time being and where they are in their career and give yourself the best shot to win. So I think that the roster is good. They got guys, Trey Lyles is there, Dwight Powell, Lou Dortz. They have really good players. USA is right now the talk of the town. Guys like LeBron, Curry, KD, they're trying to make it the last run for these guys because we may not see the likes of them again for the next few years after it's all said and done. So it's interesting to see how Team Canada plays out. I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to watching some Euro Cup. Looking forward to Copa America, Team Canada there. Alfonso Davies, hopefully he can help Canada, exceed expectations. This summer is going to be filled with great sports. The Ann Green Show is always going to be here to be able to give you that great coverage. And I'm looking forward to see what happens, but definitely all the best for Team Canada in all regards for all sports competing during the summer season. All right. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on is about carnival season itself coming up. Montreal is coming up with their carnival season first weekend in July. And then, of course, most people know that in Toronto, they do theirs last weekend in July, first kind of few days of August. Carnival season is a time for people to get together. Everyone has busy lives. Everybody knows that you don't always have the time to see the friends that you talk to maybe on social media or over the phone. You don't get a chance to see them. And when carnival season comes around, the music, the food, the gathering, God willing, the weather, it's always a good time to be there. And, I won't be able to be there for these two carnival seasons, but I definitely will have some some people with ears on the ground. Also have my dad who's putting out his first float for the carnival in Montreal for colors. Make sure you look out for that. That's going to be quite exciting to see how that plays out. And then, of course, shout out to my sister, DJ Elevate, who will be the DJ on board the float. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to check out Colors, TNT Montreal. And sponsoring by Best Bite Catering, but really looking forward to the carnival season, to just seeing how everybody enjoys their own experiences, how it plays out, and maybe some surprises that we weren't expecting. Toronto, of course, is always going to be one of the bigger times for carnival season in Canada. So, expecting nothing but the best when it comes from them. But hopefully Montreal is able to give us a nice show and a good time for people to enjoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is nice and easy. We wanted to give you some finals, sports coverage of what's going on. Also, give you a quick sneak peek in terms of the Paris Olympics, Copa, some summer sports going on. Wimbledon's coming around the corner for tennis. Baseball season for you baseball fans, so go Blue Jays. Always want to support the Canadian teams. And then, of course, carnival season this summer in Canada. Montreal starting in the first week of July and Toronto at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, always happy to be here and giving you guys some great stuff when it comes to the fields of sports, music, and food. The podcast is going to continue to evolve. We are where we are now, and we're continuing to learn. We're continuing to get feedback, so we appreciate everybody's support. We're going to be giving you coverage throughout the summer. This season, we're going to make sure that we give you guys a nice end of the finale that really concludes everything that we've been putting together all year. And next year, we're going to come out with some even better ideas for what we've already done. So, of course, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at The Ant Green Show. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you so much. Peace and love, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you.